Welcome to the Lunar Portal Podcast with Morgan
and Ina. We are the faces and voices behind the Lunar Portal Moon Guide and Calendar, a project fueled by our shared passion for aligning with natural rhythms and holding spaces for playful curiosity and empowered living.
You are now entering a cosmic space in which we aim to have an intergalactic conversation with each other and with you.
We hope these conversations offer us all an opportunity to continuously discover the landscape of our own unique inner universe while allowing the energies of the moon to inform our personal and collective essence and experience with every passing phase.
We are thrilled and excited to have you along for this conversational journey. Unscripted and off the cuff, we never really know what might emerge or come to light as we share ideas, insights, and our own experiences with cyclical living, continuously attuning ourselves more deeply to the moon and our own womb as she passes through all the cosmic energies present in the galactic universe around and within us.
With curiosity and a passion for self-inquiry, combined with our desire to be witness to the collective shifts of our times, all we really know is that we will be traversing many realms, from the shadowy subconscious underworld to the imaginative possibilities of what a new existence on Earth might look like, all while exploring this question of how does the moon in all her many phases and faces inform and guide our life experience. Hello.
Hello. Lunar portal time again.
Yes.
Just creeps up on us, doesn't it?
And I'm very excited for what's to come, like the Taurus new moon at the end of the month, and we chose the topic of sensuality. I can't wait. I really want to start by diving in and read some of the beautiful words from the upcoming lunar portal that you wrote, Morgan, and that really, really resonated with me. And I feel it's at the core of what I'm feeling is just opening with that next new lunar cycle. And yeah, so I'm just going to jump in.
All right. Sounds good.
Patience and the pace of the earth. Patience speak the language of what it means to be in flow. When in the flow of life, I'm internally in tune with the patience of every aspect of my creative dreams. Nothing ever feels too fast or too slow, and I naturally know at which pace to go and exactly what steps to take next. Patience speaks the language of my soul, and when I'm listening, I always just know. It's ridiculously and radically simple. When patience has a starring role, my whole world unfolds with ease and flow. Slowing to the pace of the earth, my breathing softens yet deepens, and I instantly find myself more attuned to the natural frequency of life.
It sounds like a delightful space to be in.
Oh, definitely. Oh, wow. Would you like to share a little bit of what inspired that piece and why it felt so connected for you to sensuality and the upcoming cycle we are stepping into?
I don't know if I can answer the question of what inspired the piece other than just tuning in to this like Taurus energy that we're just entering into now. But I do know that like inside of me right now, and I feel like this has been increasing more and more over the last few weeks, there's just this like deep desire to lay on the earth and just like allow that to be what slows me down because I know that every time I like sit down on the earth or lay on the earth or have my feet bare on the earth, which is like just starting to get warm enough now to like take some little mini walks barefoot. I did yesterday. My feet got pretty cold pretty quick, but it was just nice to feel the earth underneath my feet and just feel I don't know, there's such a different frequency that the earth energy emits versus what we're experiencing in like what is created, sort of what humans have created, the frequency of our lived experience here. And yeah, somewhere in between those two things is where I feel like I exist in this space of um yeah, being a part of the like I don't want to call it manic necessarily, but it is a little bit like the manic frequency that humans can easily like co-create. And then the frequency of the earth, which is just so slow and to me feels like more of the natural pace of life. And yeah, just looking at the seasons, there's so much patience required. It's like this natural sense of patience that just gets reflected in the seasons. And yeah, I guess that's a little bit of my elaboration on those words. It was nice to hear you read them back, as it always is, because I always hear new things, right, in the pieces that we've written.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I just feel, yeah, it really spoke to me, that element of patience as well, because I feel, yeah, we talk about it a lot. Yeah, you just need patience. And but I feel, as you said, like the environment that we humans create is so much about doing and rushing, and there's never enough time and quicker and faster. And it can be so easily forgotten that patience is key and that it really rests in, yeah, our natural rhythms and pace. And yeah, it requires to really listen to the body. And I feel that's why I'm also so excited about the topic of sensuality that we are diving into, because it really is that finding all of that within our body through opening our senses and really connecting to our environment. So it's not an isolating experience, it's actually a connecting one. And yeah, it's just, oh, beautiful. I'm so looking forward to that. And I feel that's actually also where we're coming out of the cycle of courage and discovery. And I feel this is kind of like the needed piece. Like we are kind of preparing everything, but how do you actually put that into action, and how do you bring something about in your surroundings and in your life? And I feel as much as we would like it to be about doing, and like fast forward all the time, I feel it has a lot to do with taking a step back, slowing down, and really being present.
Yeah, I really felt that with the theme of courage and discovery. Like I didn't really know what to expect, as I never really do. But it did feel like that, where it was like the courage that was needed at this time, in this like springtime where I am at. It's, like things are starting to move forward, but it's still slow. And then that reflected in like life events too. So there, yeah, I felt like there was this courage that was needed to, like you said, just like step back and slow down and continue the process of being reflective, even though there's these like underground energies that are wanting to start emerging more. Um, yeah, and I feel like that's part of the reason I want to just lay on the earth too, to like feel that sense of the earth, to just like rather than trying to experience the things that are bubbling up from the earth and into our life experience, is just like to just feel it and like experience that. And I guess more than feel it, but experience it with all the senses rather than like trying to live within it, if that makes sense. I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that that's the ritual that you created that's also inside the lunar portal that's about to start. Like, really, yeah, it is so simple, but we rarely do it. Like, really lay yourself down on the ground and really, yeah, connect to the earth in that way. Not, again, like, there is no doing about it, it's just really feeling. And I feel there is such a power in relaxing into that feeling tone of life and let the doing like just fall away for a moment. I feel we really get to experience that we are part of something that has its completely own rhythm. And it's a very profound way for me to remember that it's all happening inside of me as well and wake up to that, whether that is my cyclical body or yeah, even ailments that turn up in the body. They are all just messengers, I feel, and it's so much easier to listen and to be held in that listening while really being connected to the earth in that very simple way. So when I saw that ritual that you created, I just felt like, yes, I'm so looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's funny because I actually forgot that that's what the ritual was for this month until you just said it. I'm like, oh, that's probably why I've been feeling this strong sense to just lay on the earth. Um, yeah. And I like too what you said a little bit back just now about sensuality being a connective experience rather than like a solo experience or a very like, out just like separate from other things because yeah, it feels a little bit like society maybe has trained us to contain our experiences of sensuality. And yeah, I know that like whether it's been me that's been looked strangely upon or just being in situations where somebody is like having a very like sensual experience, they're really immersed in whatever they're like tasting or whatever they're hearing, and they're just like really in that. And other people just like looking upon it, being like, what are you, what is going on over there? But like, how beautiful for all of us. That's how I would like to see it anyway. The world just become more of a place where we can be in those moments of sensual pleasure from smelling a flower that we're walking past on the street or hearing some music coming out of somebody's window or whatever it is, right? And the more we allow ourselves and each other to have those sensual experience, that's really where, to me, feels like the connection piece comes in.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I feel it has a lot to do for me with how much we have sexualized sensuality, and then also how our collective perception of sexuality is. Because I feel, yeah, I feel it's almost you make people uncomfortable if you're having a sensual experience. It's like, whoa, instead of really, yeah, it is, as you said, like it's a connecting experience. So why not take delight in somebody like really obviously enjoying the cup of tea they are having right now or the flower they are smelling? But I experienced that again and again when I walk down the street and I stop at a tree and it's in bloom and I smell it that like people are just like, what's happening here? And almost like taking a little bit of distance, walking away. It's just really interesting. And I feel it has a lot to do with the relationship that we created between sensuality and sexuality and just minimizing the range sensuality has.
I'm curious. I know that the piece that you read at the beginning here is probably one of the pieces that you felt most connected to when you read through the lunar portal. I'm wondering if there was any other pieces within this little package that we put together that yeah, really stuck out to you or felt like gave you a sense of wanting to dive deeper into it.
Yeah, out of the writing, definitely the piece you wrote about money as well, because I feel that's for me such a strong aspect of the Taurus energy is really taking a really honest look at foundational pieces in my life. And I feel financial abundance and, yeah, how restricted we feel in what is possible and what we can do or can't do is so related to our relationship to money. And it definitely has been an ongoing journey for me, but it's really an encouragement for me to, yeah, take this next lunar cycle to really dive deep into that again. And I love that it's brought up in the container of sensuality and of our relationship to the earth, because as bizarre as that might sound, I feel for me, a way to really connect to money and shift the lingering subconscious beliefs that I have that really block my access to abundance, and is really that it is this cold, untouchable, weird thing, maybe even a little spiky. Whereas I feel if I bring a really essential element into it and make it part of my natural and organic experience, and also a very energetic, I feel, connection to earth, myself, body, then it just I can taste it almost like it's it's like the separation melts away. And I feel that's the main block I'm having. It's like money is there, I'm here, there's no connection. So I can really feel that yeah, that topic, that aspect of my life in this embrace of the sensuality topic is really offering me this bridge that I have a hard time finding to really, yeah, build that relationship with money, which I feel somewhere is already there. It's just that I'm not acknowledging it. So I feel that's also such a beautiful thing about the upcoming month is it's all already there. I feel that's the awareness that we grow into when we really allow ourselves to open all our senses. And you mentioned that as well in the in one of your writings. It's not just the five senses we allow ourselves to acknowledge, but even, yeah, going beyond that. And I feel you can't help but do that just by small acts like what you said, lying on the ground and really feeling the earth. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, it's funny because as you know, I've been on a money journey for a while and like diving deeper into it recently too. But even you just say like bringing up the topic of money, even though I know it's in the portal this month and like it really felt like it was meant to be in there. It's a very like the Taurus energy is very connected to that sense of money and what that means to us as humans. But there is still part of me that's like, oh no, we're not going to talk about money, are we? And that's from like all the work I've done recently and getting more comfortable with talking about money. So I know how hard it has been for me over the years, but also how much there has been changes and shifts through the years. Like there has been periods in my life where I felt like super in an abundant flow and just like I never thought or cared about money and I just always had whatever money I needed for whatever I wanted to do and like it's still a little bit like that but the flow has like really decreased for a long time and there's not a lot of I don't carry a lot of fear around money because I have seen it as this sort of like it's a made up abstract thing that we're working with as humans here on this earth. Um, but it is tied to an energetic too, right? And that there is like a certain frequency around money or many different frequencies around it, I guess, depending on what our conditioning is. So like how we resonate with that frequency of money changes. Um, but yeah, it's such an interesting journey to just go through all the different layers and levels of our relationship to this thing that is, I still see it as this like, it's just this made up entity that exists for us. And so then that brings me to like, well, yeah, I do get to like choose how to engage with it then, just with anything else in life. And I do get to like, is it going to be hard and a struggle and a worry for me, or is it going to be fun and playful and like a game? And I like that I've had people in my life who have introduced that more and more, that like money can be a playful game that we're just embarking upon, and yeah, bring some joy and ease into it, and get over that fear of talking about something that we've been told not to talk about so much, right? So yeah, so tied in, like you said, to like we've also been taught not to like talk about or experience sensuality. And yeah, why are they so interrelated? What is going on here? So I'm excited for you to take a further dive into that realm, this lunar portal, and also for myself to, yeah, continue discovering the new layers and stuff around that. Exciting.
Absolutely. I'm curious, like we have talked about topics and kind of dipped our toe into what to expect. But I'm curious, like, what can people expect? Like, what can somebody who opens the lunar portal and really goes on that journey with us, what can they expect in the upcoming lunar month? What is waiting for them within the lunar portal? How would you, yeah, from your very personal perspective, what sticks out for you?
When I think about opening up the lunar portal, especially as somebody who hasn't opened it, like obviously I have, but if I can use my imagination to bring me into a space of somebody who hasn't touched upon any of the aspects yet, I get the sense that I would open it up and feel like there was this really soft and inquisitive adventure that was like just kind of slowly opening up to to be available to me. And that there is this really deep sense of being held in a nurturing space that is encouraging to slow down and to take a step back, a kind of, it's like a step back, but it's like a perspective shift, is how I'm imagining it, for us to just take a moment as we enter into the lunar portal to, yeah, take a step back and take like half an hour or however long it feels like to just be in a space of complete reflection on our connection to the earth and to ourselves in that moment. That's how it feels. And then like opening up through the pages, and yeah, with the poem that you included in the lunar portal, it's just it that had such a sense of like kind of mystery to it, but like mystery in this very like grounded and earthy kind of sense. That's how I experienced it. And also very, yeah, very sensual, and like reading when I did the final like proofread of everything, just to, try to catch any little mistakes that either of us might have missed. It just, there was so many topics that were touched upon again and again, and like through your poem and your story, and then through the stuff that I wrote, and then into the ritual and the playlist, it was just like there was a lot of repeating patterns. And I guess that's not unusual for the lunar portals that we've been creating, but it did feel very like extra this time around. And oh, one thing that I was gonna tell you, Ina, in a message, but I forgot to, was that in your story, you talk about a piece of art that you're working on and how it starts to rain, and there's this whole process that you go through with that. The hilarious part of that is when I was putting the stars on the galaxy paintings, I generally do it outside because it can be a bit messy with the way that I put the stars on there. And so it was an overcast day, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it now. I wanted to get it done so I could take photos of it. And I went outside and I put the first layer on, and then I came back inside to um, mix up some more paint because I needed to add some more. And when I went out, it had started raining, and I was like, oh no, it's raining on the galaxies. And I hadn't read your story yet at that point. I don't know. Yeah, I hadn't read it, but when I read it, I was like, oh, that's so funny that this happened while I was making the painting for the lunar portal. So a lot of very like tied tied in moments. And I think that's something people could expect, is like just a sense of um their own experience of what it feels like to be in a synchronistic kind of flow and ebb and flow with the earth's energies and our own energy.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. It just makes me so excited to open it myself again. It just, I don't know, the way you described it was just like, oh, yes. Such a nourishing feeling already. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. The way it's created, and I feel it's an organic process between the two of us. And as you said, like it's true for any of the lunar portals we've created. But this time especially, I had that feeling of, whoa, this is flowing. Like I was reading your pieces and then I was thinking back to the meditation I recorded. And sometimes it's the same words, even, and the same topics that just come up. And then I had a little sneak peek into the playlist. I try to keep it really a surprise for myself, but had a little listen. And even then, I felt like, whoa, this is really speaking to me on that layer that was awake in my story. Like when I wrote that, and I oh yeah, so I'm really excited, and then the writing prompts as well. So I can't wait to dive into that, and I feel especially an inquiry that I'm definitely curious about is how to bring sensuality as an experience more into my work, and especially into my writing, because I feel one of the fears I have around the writing process is that it often can feel separating in a weird way from my surroundings and quite isolating. And so I'm very curious. That's like a personal inquiry I definitely have this month, how to make that consciously more sensual. And I feel the playlist you put together is going to be such a huge ally in that, because I feel moving my body and just really, yeah, I feel that already awakens the senses and the sense of sensuality and being in the body. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I that sounds great. As you were talking to, I was thinking how much I don't do this a lot, but how much I do enjoy it when I do it, when I sit down to write and I start writing about like all the little things that are happening around me and tuning into the different senses, right? Like what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, and yeah, it's I might do that more too, is like whenever I sit down to write stuff, I might start with just like taking a note of my how I'm like having that sensual experience in that moment. So thank you for speaking about that and inspiring. that in my own creative process. Yeah, and I know that we both love um, combining dance and writing together too. And it's something that if I don't set out to do it, it doesn't happen that often. Sometimes I'm just really inspired to stop dancing and write. But I think, yeah, it might be nice to take some time with the playlist and the writing prompts together and just spend, I think the playlist is just under an hour and a half this time. It's a little bit longer. I always have a hard time like knocking off some songs. So I'm like, it's longer. Who cares? um, yeah, and just really having a sensual creative session sounds like a good time. Yeah, I know I said this at the beginning of our podcast recording this evening, but just to bring that notion back in, that it felt really important that we went through the cycle of courage and discovery in order to come into this space of sensuality in a way that just feels really genuine and like stripped back. That's how it feels to me anyway. It was like I've spent the last lunar cycle just really allowing things to just like kind of is the word slough off? I don't know if that's the right word, but that's how it's felt. Like things have just kind of been like it's been a gentle process, I would say, for the most part. It's required a lot of surrendering, which has been challenging at times. Um, just my own like mental challenges around that, right? But it has, yeah, it's like stripped things back so that sensuality can be um, just a really lived experience in this lunar cycle and hopefully in many ways and many days and months and years going forward because I'm ready for that to bring that aspect of humanness really back online, as they say these days, bringing it back online in a real way. I want my life to be more sensual, and I think this is going to be a great lunar cycle for that.
Yeah, that deeply resonates. I just yesterday I looked back on the lunar portal calendar for the last cycle, and now also like having gone through the process of creating the next lunar portal, I just felt like, whoa, I've preparing this, like all the little notes I left for myself each day. They really feel like they are really opening that space and something is, yeah, the soil is prepared. And I have experienced that again and again throughout the month that we have been doing it. It's just in my journey with the portal timer calendar in general that it's, yeah, the relationship to time changes in that way that if I honor my own pace and really show up for myself every day, it becomes clear that it's just all flowing one into the other. But it's really beautiful to be consciously there for it. And I feel the lunar portal really, yeah, since we've started that and really moving through it together as well, it just really feels like that is heightened. So there's a stronger awareness. And so, yeah, I definitely had that aha moment yesterday when I looked back and thought, like, I've been preparing this whole month for what's to come. And that feels really exciting. It feels less terrifying, I feel, because I feel new beginnings can also feel terrifying. And yeah, it feels like I'm good, I'm prepared. This makes sense. And I feel that's a beautiful feeling to have generally in life, that we can actually have our back in that way because we are honoring our rhythms and our pace and show up for ourselves each day. And I feel that's really something that I try to do anyways, but that the lunar portal has definitely strengthened in my day-to-day life. So yeah, I hope that that's something others get to experience as well.
Me too. I think that's interesting that we both really had that experience this past lunar cycle of an experience of preparation. And yeah, how neat that is to just witness and reflect upon that some moments in life are just meant for preparing for what's to come next. And then some moments are for like really just being in that experience of whatever is like, we're always in the experience of like whatever's unfolding. But yeah, it's like preparing for a trip, right? If you're going to go on a trip somewhere, it's like you got to spend a little bit of time preparing for it. And I feel like that's what we just did, was prepare for this journey into sensuality.
Yeah, I love that. It brings me back to the right to the beginning, the topic of patience. I feel that is so much easier to just have and access when we show up in that way, like for ourselves, and just experience that there are seasons and there are rhythms, and some may feel more comfortable than others, but in the end they are all necessary, and they are all gonna beautifully and easily like work together in the end. And I feel, that's just, I don't know, I didn't have that for a long time in my life, and so everything felt a little, like stop and go, and nothing seemed to make sense. And I feel there is something really powerful, I feel, that is also part of the lunar portal for me, is this: you're in your life fully and more present, and or you at least try to create pockets of time where you can be more present, so you're more fully here. And at the same time, you're taking that little stance aside and just witness your life at the same time. And I feel there's something deeply powerful in that combination of allowing yourself to be both. Really empowering.
Mm-hmm. Present and witnessed. I feel like that's a good place to be on our merry way.
Oh, I really loved this conversation. It was so, enriching, and made me really curious and excited about what's to come and what we're about to open.
Yeah, me too. I felt like I wasn't, it was one of those moments where I'm like, "Well, is the next lunar portal ever gonna come?" I like looked at the dates again. I'm like, it still feels so far away, the next new moon. Like it's been such a long cycle. But yeah, this conversation has definitely opened up a nice space of moving into that, and it will be upon us before we know it.
Yeah, and for anybody who's listening, if you're curious, if you want to know what it's all about, and if you actually want to journey with us with the Lunar Portal, just have a look at the links below. You can find out more, read about the Lunar Portal, and of course, also get your own if you feel like it. We would love to
Yeah.
have you on the journey.
Yeah, and ask us any questions too, depending on where you're listening to this. But there's lots of ways to get a hold of us. So yeah, questions are always welcome, and we like explaining ourselves and our creations to people. Especially, I know for myself, I'm learning to be more responsive to like what people are actually wanting to know more about. So questions are always good for that. So we welcome them.
Yeah, we love to have conversations with you. That's why we are doing this. So
Yeah.
thank you for listening, and thank you, dear Morgan. It was, as always, beautiful to talk to you.
Thank you too, Ina.
Until
Was
next
lovely.
time. Thank you for listening to the Lunar Portal Podcast.
It has been an absolute pleasure to be accompanied by you in this conversation through this lunar portal as we journeyed together through this time and space. We hope the lunar portal offered you spaces of nourishment and inspiration through the changing tides of your life.
If this sparked your curiosity, have a look at the Lunar Portal Moon Calendar and Guidebook, a gently guided resource kit that includes a moon calendar, a galaxy painting, a meditation, a playlist to move to, writing prompts, a ritual, and lots of information, inspiration and wisdom around this new moon. We would love to accompany you and hold you on your journey to embrace your own pace, connect to your intuition, make space for your well-being, and establish a deep trust in what you know with small acts of awareness each day. You can find all the information you need in the links below, and feel free to connect to either of us with any questions or curiosities you might have around the Lunar Portal Inner Galactic Moon Guide. For now, we want to say
thank you for your courage, curiosity, and trust. We feel honored and blessed that you chose to venture into this conversation of this lunar cycle on a journey of discovering our own and your inner landscape.
we hope to see your return so we can journey together with the next coming moon.